The true meaning of the song American Pie has been a mystery for more than 40 years. For decades, singer-songwriter Don McLean has refused to explain the lyrics. But tomorrow morning, those lyrics, along with McLean's notes about the full song's meaning, will go up for auction. Al Jazeera's John Terrett has actually seen those manuscripts, and he joins us now. John.
I've held them in my hand. It was really exciting. I wrote to a friend of mine in London, and I said, I've held American Pie lyrics in my hand. And he wrote back and said, I was a friend of Don McLean's in the 1970s. He simply can't win. Anyway, they do say, don't they, if you remember the 60s, you weren't there. Good job then that we have McLean's American Pie to explain things from the death of Buddy Holly in '59 through to the dying days of that turbulent decade. McLean says he may explain his mysterious lyrics when his work comes up for grabs at auction tomorrow morning here in New York. But for now, here is the story of the song with a handful of things you did not know before thrown in for good measure.
A piece of American music history is up for sale. Don McLean's original lyrics from his iconic American Pie, and in the unlikely event you can't remember how it goes, here's McLean singing it.
Long, long time ago, I can still remember how that music used to make me smile.
It's really rare to see behind the curtain. And this is seeing behind the curtain. It's seeing genius at work.
Tom Leckie, head of books and manuscripts at Christies in New York, says it's remarkable to see how Don McLean edged his way through the lyrics page by page over months.
Long, long time ago, I still remember how that music used to make me smile.
American Pie was a smash when it was released in 1971.
So bye, bye, Miss American Pie.
It spent 4 weeks at #1 on the charts. It's also the longest #1 record at 8.5 minutes.
Whoever buys these documents is going to have access to stuff that's never been seen in public before. For example, Don McLean wrote this verse for American Pie, which in the end, he simply crossed out.
Reading the manuscript, it's clear McLean began writing by hand and later typing as the song panned out. And two famous lines were flipped.
February made me shiver.
That's right. In the lyrics, you see it both in the order that we're all used to it, and you also see those two lines reversed, with the shivering coming before the delivery.
McLean has never committed to what the song is about, beyond that it was inspired by the death of Buddy Holly in 1959. But it's one of the most analysed songs of all time. People have always interpreted McLean's anthem in different ways. For example, because the players tried to take the field, the marching band refused to yield, for years was thought to be a reference to the Beatles. Not so, says Tom. McLean told him he was thinking about the Mummers Parade in Philadelphia, the city where he finished writing American Pie, and the marches against the turmoil surrounding Vietnam.
He called it a morality song. He said that the world is going in the wrong direction at the time of this song, and things were becoming less ideal, less idyllic.
Anthony DeCurtis is a writer for Rolling Stone magazine. He says the irony is American Pie is an upbeat classic with a downbeat message.
The song is about seeing the death of Buddy Holly and Richie Valens and the Big Bopper in 1959 in a plane crash. The song sees that as the kind of crack in the teacup, the one little break that suggests that as wonderful as everything seems, it might not turn out that way.
As for the true meaning of the song, DeCurtis says it's in Don McLean's interest not to reveal the secrets.
I think people are going to still argue about the lyrics. That's why it's a great song. It shouldn't end the discussion. I don't think he wants it to end the discussion.
American Pie was enshrined in the Grammy Hall of Fame in 2002. 2 years later, Don McLean was inducted into the Songwriters Hall of Fame, ensuring no matter what happens at auction, his song will live forever.
This will be the day that I die.
And the 17 pages showing the progression of American Pie comes up at Christie's tomorrow morning, 10 a.m. here in New York. The anticipated sale price, well over $1 million.
I learned so much more thanks to that terrific piece. But there are a lot of other famous voices in the song. Tell us.
According to Ed Freeman, who was the producer on the record, the choir was James Taylor and Carly Simon, who I think were married at the time. Also Pete Seeger, the folk singer, and Livingston Taylor, who I think must be related in some way to James Taylor. And Ed Freeman says it was quite a star-studded cast and one that I really should have photographed. Now, in keeping with the whole mix of this song, Don McLean himself denies that that's true. He did that on his website, so we shall have to, well, I don't know. Who knows? With this song, quite frankly, it could go either way.
Terrific stuff. John Terrett, thank you. Appreciate it.